has doubled down on her previous comments about the dangers of vaccines. The Des Moines Register reports that when Bachman was in Iowa Monday, a mother said her daughter's physical ailments may be traced to vaccination. Bachman said it's unfortunate the daughter must, quote, live with the ravages of this vaccine. We know that the science here does not exist, and yet Michele Bachman continues to further this theory. Is this willful disavowal of the truth? Is this just Michele Bachman being Michele Bachman? I tend to think this kind of misinformation, especially around science, is really damaging in a way that maybe other gaffes we've seen from the Republican field are not.
Well, I think there has been a lot of debate about the effectiveness of the vaccine and some of the potential side effects, and I think what she's really trying to pinpoint is this mandate by executive order that Perry enforced, and I think she has a problem with it. I think she has probably a problem with someone running for the GOP for the presidency that is opposing an Obama mandate, but at the same time instituted a mandate by executive order for 6th grade girls to receive a Gardasil vaccine. Now, if you want to receive a Gardasil vaccine, fine, go ahead and do it. It should be your choice. But I think she feels, I don't want to put words in her mouth, let me say how I feel, that it's really stepping on parental rights. So this is a core issue, I think, that she wants to address.
I mean, it'd be one thing if she was talking about, you know, the government being involved in health care. This is a falsehood that she is putting forward that it stokes fear, I think, amongst families and young children. And I think in that way she bears some responsibility to clarify of things. No?
Well, I don't think we know. I mean, this particular, I'll use Perry's executive order. He enforced that only 8 months after the FDA approved it. A lot of what the implications of this vaccine will be in the future, we don't know. It's very new. Things are emerging right now. So I think she's just calling the attention once again to, if you want to put that risk upon your kids or you individually, or you want to put that risk upon yourself as an adult, go right ahead. But don't mandate it. Don't make it, don't have a government come in and say, yeah, you have to do this, and in order to get through school, you have to have this vaccine. It just doesn't seem right.
But I do think there is a difference between parental involvement and parental consent and fear-mongering. And I think that's that line that I think she skirts. And it's not just on this issue, but I think we have a whole collection of different issues. And whether it be issues of global warming and climate change, I think there's a whole lot of facts out there that Michele Bachman has no problem skirting with. And that is, I think, the challenging thing about her campaign going forward is this going to be what we're going to continue to see as her way of trying to gain momentum and gain presence inside the
and doubling down on in areas where she's previously been criticized. But let's go to our next grab bag topic. The quest to oust Republican Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker has begun. Opponents are looking for 540,000 signatures statewide to force a recall election. And I guess the question I have for you guys is, we saw what happened in Ohio. Do we think that Wisconsin can be Ohio Redux, or do you think that the situation in Ohio was unique enough that it may not carry over to Wisconsin?
Well, it started in Wisconsin, as we know. The effort, at least the national attention, began there with Scott Walker. Now, this is an important lesson for both political parties to understand, and John Kasich actually articulated it well once he was defeated, or his issue was defeated there in Ohio last week. He said you can't move too fast and do too much. Excesses in politics on either side are generally rejected by voters. Scott Walker had actually won the debate early on, encouraging and urging and winning capitulations from unions to pull back some of the gains that they had made in order to help balance the state budget. And took the extraordinary step of saying you guys should never be able to bargain for better conditions, wages, whatever. Important lesson Democrat and Republicans watch. I think Walker's in serious trouble. He may not lose the recall, but this certainly paves a way in the Midwest for Democrats, and particularly for the Obama team, to figure out how to rebuild, rejuvenate their incredible effort they put forth in 2008.
I also think there are big lessons coming out of Arizona, where you saw the recall of Russell Pierce, who was the architect of the anti-immigrant legislation.
Exactly.
That, to your point, you can't move too fast, but also what immigration organizers on the ground there understood was that immigration was not going to be enough to force the recall, that they really needed to build a coalition. They needed to take into questions issues of fraud and mismanagement. It had to be bigger than just one thing, and this is going to need to be bigger than union rights.
And certainly 2012, we'll see a lot of issues play out on the national stage. In our next block, political profits. How are politicians making money? We'll follow the money up next on Now.